Welcome back to Zana Vibes, your beacon of martial arts discipline and wisdom. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and share with those who walk the path of honor. Now, let us enter the tale. They were once brothers, not by blood, but by discipline. Raised beneath the same roof, trained by the same master, forged by the same code. At the Temple of Eternal Balance, Jiro and Han learned that Kung Fu was not just about fists and kicks, but about restraint, purpose, and peace. Together, they swore an oath to protect the innocent, uphold the code, and never raise a hand against each other, unless one broke that sacred vow. But fate, like fire, does not ask for permission. One moonless night, the Shadow Clan came like wolves. They burned the village, slaughtered the disciples, and left their master bleeding in Han's arms. Grief struck Jiro like lightning. His soul cried out for justice, but his fists demanded vengeance. He left in fury, chasing shadows across mountains and borders, destroying all who stood in his path. He called it justice, but justice, twisted by rage, becomes something else. Han chose a different path. He stayed behind not to mourn but to rebuild. From ashes he raised the village once more. He became its silent guardian, its steady breath. He taught the children, protected the weak, and never once lifted a sword. The villagers called him the Silent Flame, because he burned quietly but he never went out. 20 years passed, and then under the rising crimson moon, Jiro returned. No longer the boy they once knew, he came like a storm wrapped in armor. His voice carried judgment. His eyes carried fire. He demanded the village hand over a man, the last surviving member of the Shadow Clan, now old and crippled, hiding among them. Jiro called it justice. Han called it revenge. Han stepped forward. "You've come far, brother," he said. "But you've lost your way." "I lost everything," Jiro replied. "And you did nothing." Han's voice held stillness, like a lake before dawn. "I protected what was left." Jiro drew his blade. "Then you protect it from me." And so it began. Not a duel of pride, not a contest of strength, but a reckoning of soul. The people gathered, silent. The crimson moon watched from above, just as it had the night the world changed. Every strike Jiro threw was a question. Every block Han made was an answer. Rage clashed with discipline. Fire battled flow. Two styles, born of the same master, now danced in war. They fought until breath became thunder, until blood met stone. And then silence. Han closed his eyes. One breath. One step. One perfect motion, a technique passed only once every century. He struck not to kill, but to awaken. Jiro fell to one knee. His sword slipped from his hand. And in his eyes, the fire faded. What remained was something deeper. Something pure. "Thank you," Jiro whispered, not for defeat, but for mercy. Han offered his hand. The village exhaled. There were no victors that night. Only two warriors bound by a broken oath, healed by truth. Under the fading crimson moon, they walked side by side. One had chased vengeance. One had chosen peace, but both had found understanding. And the wind that passed through the valley carried a new legend that when true warriors meet, it is not for glory, but for balance. If this story stirred your spirit, honor the code, leave a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more compelling martial arts journeys. This is Zana Vibes, where